What's up? Today is a very special episode. This is episode number 50 and marks 1 year of Supercar Connection. For our anniversary episode, it is Joe and myself talking about our favorite moments from the year, our recent trip to Car Week, answering some guest submitted questions, and most importantly, what is coming in the future. This is Supercar Connection. This is the Supercar Connection Podcast, bringing you behind-the-scenes conversations from across the industry. If you love supercars, you're in the right place. So let's hit it.
What's up, everybody? It's Supercar Connection back. We are here at Corsa Galleria in Glendale, California. #1 spot in Glendale. If you need any used cars or any cars in between, hit up Corsa Galleria. Huge shout out to them for letting us use their space. We're back here.
Thank you, George. George was one of our original guests.
Yes.
Our original guest, no?
Yeah, I think he was, to be honest with you. Yeah, he was the original guest.
First guest, George.
Yes. You guys have seen it back in the day. We filmed at George's old location, which is not too far down the street from here. Shout out to George for upgrading and getting a bigger space.
Yes. A lot has happened.
Yes, a lot has happened to that.
George is here.
Yes.
We're here.
This is actually going to be the last episode of season 1 of Supercar Connection.
The last one.
Crazy.
I'll add, we don't know how long of a break it's going to be yet. So it won't be forever, obviously. We can't make it too long. We got to bring you the content, but we will be taking a break at least through September.
Yep. We really want to distinguish between season 1 and season 2 and give some time to play some clips back from all the guests we've had. People that maybe could have gotten a couple more clips and some other light shined.
And to be honest, give us a little bit of a break. It's fun. I mean, this has been like, I love this.
Yes.
Like, I'm so glad that we started this, and this is a blast. Like,
Very much so.
This brings a lot of purpose to my life doing this. Just because it's so much fun. I feel like I'm creating something, I'm doing something that people find valuable. So
a lot of people find valuable, apparently, which is insane.
Yeah.
Just even think about the growth. But that's a whole other segue.
So what was I saying?
Talking about the break we're gonna take.
Yeah. So, but with how fun it is, you all know, hopefully, we talk about it all the time. I edit everything. It's tiring.
Very much so.
Every week in, week out, this is episode number 50. We've gone a full year and we've missed 2 weeks, I think, from like different holidays and stuff.
Crazy.
So episode 50 today. And this is, if you're listening to this, the day it comes out, it's September 2nd. September 4th was the first episode we released. So
a full calendar year.
It is a full calendar year of Supercar Connection.
Dude.
So that's part of why we got to take a little bit of a break. That's season 1. Close that chapter. Chapter 2 is going to be, it's going to be crazy. I think the people that we're going to sit down with, the people we're going to talk with, you guys are really going to enjoy the conversations that we have and the people that we bring on.
Very much so. We got a lot more planned for season 2. Hopefully some stuff outside the podcast that you guys will like to see. And then just in general, new ideas, new structure, new everything coming to Supercar Connection. You guys are going to really, really like it. So the potential month break we're going to take September will be very much appreciated come October.
And we are going to talk about cars. So
let's get into it.
I know that this is kind of a long intro, but we just have a lot to recap.
Let's do it.
But stick around because we're talking about cars. That's how this all started. And you've heard the story before, but just to quickly recap, me and Joe went to college together. That's how we know each other. We've been boys a long time. We would hang out after college, grab some dinner, make some dinner, sit down, talk about cars because we just both love cars.
Literally.
And one day we looked up and said, what if we recorded this and put it on the internet? And that's when Supercar Connection was born.
Yep.
Now over a year ago.
Crazy.
Because the conversation started
way back in the day.
Way before episode 1 came out, September 4th, 2023.
Yes.
But September 4th marks a year. This comes out the 2nd. Episode 50. It's pretty cool.
Crazy. What do you want to jump into first?
Well, so we did ask a couple of guests, or we asked for some questions from the guests. So, I don't know, we could rip a couple of those.
Let's do it.
Works for you?
Let's see what the people said.
Okay.
What do we got? What's the first one?
What is the main reason as to why y'all like cars? Is it the sound or the character or what?
Why y'all like cars? Okay.
Why you got to repeat it like that?
I'm just using the grammar that he used. So I'm just using what he used. Don't hate me. Hate the player.
He's typing it on Instagram. Give the guy a break. Thank you for asking.
Can I rip it first?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I guess.
Why do you like cars, Joe Murphy?
Why do I like cars? So if you want to go back to like the dawn of it all, for me, it spawned from my grandfather. He kind of like instilled it in me even when I didn't want it when I was a child, it was kind of like shoved down my throat.
Go watch the episode with the old man.
Yes, the old man episode is a crazy episode.
Yeah, hilarious.
That's a full circle episode.
People love that.
Yeah, a lot of full circle shit.
We might have to have the old man back season 2.
We'll see. we'll see on that one. But he kind of like shoved it down my throat when I was growing up. And at the time when I was super young, I remember being like, I don't care about any of this. But now I'm eternally grateful because it's my whole life now. So I kind of love it because anytime any car, no matter what it is, just reminds me of him, and it kind of always puts him like right here in the back. But if you want to talk about a little bit more in depth, now the reason why I love cars is literally everything. People don't realize that. You spend so much time in your car. The car brings people and connections. Like if I had to test my entire life I have now, my entire life is because of cars. Everything I have is because of cars.
Yeah.
The friends that I have, the business that I have, this podcast, everything is because of cars. So for me, it's just literally, if people really realize what a car can do for you from a actual non-enjoyment standpoint, not even just the sound or the drive, cars is in my entire life.
And that's what what do you like about cars?
About the actual cars itself?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's that. Like what the car brings me outside of it is what I love most about it.
That's what you love most.
That's what I love most about it. I know you want me to say the exhaust or the drive.
I'm just trying,
like
I feel like I'm trying to facilitate the answer that he was trying to get from.
I know what he wanted, but for me, it's at a point in my life.
So that's what you love about cars.
Yep. I'm at a point now. Now, you asked me this question in my current state.
Sure.
I love what the car brings me outside of the car more than anything else in my life.
But what makes you what do you like when you're picking a car?
If I have to give like the analog answer that you want me to give right now, I would say,
well, I mean, you got the other answer, and I'm not discounting the other answer. Now I'm just trying to dig deeper.
I would say the other answer would probably be
60 minutes, baby.
The experience.
The experience.
The experience a car brings.
But what gives you the experience? What contributes most?
I'm going to give one dialed in thing.
Experience.
I'm going to pick it because every car is different. So every car has a different thing. But if I had to pick,
it doesn't have to be one thing. Just talk about it. What is it? What
Can
about,
I talk about
the experience?
like my last 2 cars and talk about the different things?
Sure.
Okay, so like the 720, which was the car before the Aventador, that car was special because, in my opinion, it was the #1 driving car, actual driver's car.
Yeah.
Crazy, all glass, so the visibility was crazy. Twin turbo, that thing was, and the 720, that shit was fast,
very
stupid fast, like
piss missile,
like a piss missile. That's the understatement.
It's different. It's different.
The doors going up,
people don't understand how fast that car is unless they've driven it.
They really don't.
People that have driven it, no. You talk to people who have driven a 720 and they're like, that car is ridiculous.
It's fast as shit.
People that have not driven a 720, you can't really fathom how quickly you're at 140 miles an hour. You can't fathom it.
You can't.
It's unlike when you hit 70 and it continues to pool to 140 just as fast as it pooled to 70.
Stupid.
There's nothing else like it that just pulls like it pulls.
Literally. For anybody that's into mods or anything that understands kind of weight ratio to horsepower, 720 horsepower, 3,000 pounds. That's it. If you know that, you know how stupid that is.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
It's an amazing car.
But yes. So that car was just that was a driving experience. So being able to, the speed mixed with the visibility, the suspension, the way that those accumulators make you feel.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Then you jump into this shitbox and it's a whole different thing. This car drives like crap. You can't see shit out of it, but its presence and sound are literally unmatched. There is nothing out there outside of hypers that has this.
Yeah.
So again, love both cars. Probably the 2 cars that at this point in my life, I would own both of them still if I could. If I could sell the 720, I'm going to circle back for that thing. I'm going to eventually get another one.
But it'll be a 765.
It'll be a 765. But this car, the sound and the presence is ridiculous, which is totally different on the 720. The sound on the 720
bad.
Is dog shit. It's literally its worst thing is its sound. And this, it's its best thing.
Austin claims he can make it sound like a 458.
Austin does claim he can make it sound like a 458. And spit fire apparently too. Shout out Austin for Valvetronic. Good friend of ours too. But yeah, that's my whole thing. My Aventador just fucking turned on, I think.
No, it's just turned off.
Oh, turned off? It ghosted us?
Finally turned off. Yeah.
But let's flip the question back to you, Gavin. What is the thing you love about cars?
For me, I think the biggest thing for me has always been the design. Cars it's how they look, right? When something drives down the street and it's not a Hyundai or a Honda Odyssey, it's a Lamborghini and it's flat and it's crazy and it just looks ridiculous and it catches your attention. That's where I started, right? I saw a Ferrari Testarossa when I was a kid and Like that's one of my earliest memories of seeing a car and going, what is this?
What
I
the
like
fuck is
this.
happening?
Yeah. So, oh, look at this. We got a surprise appearance from a cat.
This is Corsa.
Corsa.
We're at Corsa Galleria. This is Corsa. This is George's cat.
Well, that's lit.
Yes. Continue.
So like the design was number one for me. Like I just loved how cars looked and then how cars sound. So like the look and the sound will always be the number one. Like for me, the two biggest things.
Do I get the cat?
Are you worried about the
No,
cat
I just don't want the cat
to go in there and start pawing your leather seats?
Anyways, so you were saying, sorry, for Corsa.
Yeah. There's a cat. If you're just listening, we've got Corsa the cat, Corsa Galleria, George's cat, roaming around while we're talking.
Almost try to get into my Mentor right now with the door up.
Yeah. So the looks and the sound have always been the biggest thing for me. I love a car that's beautiful and sounds good, right?
Sounds like you're a Lambo guy.
Right. That's why I've always loved Lambos, because like you look at the Murcielago, like when I was growing up, that was the car.
Yeah.
You had the Mercy. It looked crazy. The doors go up. Beautiful car. The SV was my dream car as a kid, and it sounds ridiculous. And then the Aventador came out, and it was a perfect car.
Literally.
Like, when the Aventador came out, it was literally a perfect car. Like every kid that loves cars sees that car, perfection.
Literally.
And it kind of still is.
It still is. It's crazy.
If you see just a base like launch silver Aventador
700
with no mods, silver wheels, still looks good. Like
it really does.
It's really ridiculous.
It really does.
Does it look as good as this? No.
It's just timeless though. It's
But
absolutely insane.
It still looks so good. So yeah, that's why I've always loved Lambo. And that's why, and those are like, I guess the two things I like most. Obviously how they make you feel is huge too. Now driving them, how the car makes me feel is definitely one of the biggest things, and why I love that Aston so much.
That Aston special.
Yeah, it's how it makes me feel.
I think it looks fucking clean too.
Bro, that car is beautiful. I'm telling you.
Beautiful. Aston Martin probably is. If I had to pick one brand that's timeless design, like you can pin all their models from dawn of time till now against any other brand's thing. Their design is just fucking stupid. It beats everything.
Yeah, that car. So many people consider it like one of the greatest, most timeless designs ever. The V8 Vantage.
It's crazy.
That generation, especially, it's so, the proportions are perfect. It's not over the top. It's understated, but like so clean and so sporty and aggressive somehow at the same time. Like it makes sense why it's the James Bond car.
Literally.
It is the James Bond car. Do you want to, that kind of takes us into the next guest question that we had.
This is the next guest question.
Best sports cars to own before your first supercar. Best sports car to wow, I'm struggling.
Tell me, the grammar is difficult, huh?
Best sports car to own before your first supercar. That is not going to be the hook for the clip, because watch that 7 times.
It's all good.
What do you think is the best sports car to own before you buy a supercar?
I think before I answer that, we need to clearly define what is a sports car comparative to a supercar. Is it price point?
Just think general public.
What they
you know
would
what
consider?
general public considers. Like I know, like we can sit there and we can try to make an argument for the Corvette, even the C8. But like the general public is going to say, oh, the C8's a sports car, the 911's a sports car.
Am I picking one model? Am I picking like a brand or a moniker? Or am
Just
I picking like specific cars?
Pick a car, a specific car.
I would say if I had to pick, you know what? I kind of know my answer. If I had to say,
But also it needs to be reasonably priced.
Right,
Because
of
the
course.
C8 Z06, if someone's going to consider that a sports car,
I wasn't going to go there because
Okay.
that's a supercar to me.
Right.
As much as everyone wants to talk about it, like that's not a sports car. That is
like
a supercar.
is the ZR1 a hypercar?
No, fuck no, it's not.
Bro, it's 1,000 horsepower.
No.
That used to be the definition of a
It
hypercar.
used to, but it's not now.
Goalposts change, huh?
It sucks because now, not even touching that topic very, very quickly, but now everything is monetary value. It sucks, but like we live in a monetary world.
Yeah.
So like everything is driven by price point now.
Now it's like 2 million plus is hypercar.
It's stupid, but and it will keep going up. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. If I had
Neither
to
here
pick
nor
one-
there.
Literally, if I had to pick one car that I would consider being the best one to buy before you get into anything that's considered a super, crap. Honestly, man, people might hate me for this answer, but I think C7 Z06 is the best answer for that question.
Horrible answer.
Why you say that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to rile you up.
The only reason I say that, and I can't, don't get me wrong.
No, it's a great answer.
Don't get me wrong. I wanted to pick something else, but when you think about, like, I'm picking it because it's the question. What's the best car to own before a super? Okay.
Yeah.
The speed on that car. It's very, very rare to find a sports car that has that type of speed.
Yeah.
to be able to handle that, because you have to be able to control that car.
Yeah.
On top of it, when you put the power down on that car doesn't grip. So if you can control that and learn that car.
Are you talking about the Z06 or just any of them?
The C706.
Oh,
That's what I said. My bad. I said C706.
I think you said Stingray.
I said C06. I promise you.
Okay, we'll play back. Hey, press rewind 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds.
Did I say
and
I
listen
said
to what he said.
I promise you.
Okay.
That car,
C706.
C706. If you can control that car, there's a lot of supercars that it's hard to find something that's crazy that you can't control.
The C706, I mean, it's pretty much got to be the best answer. That car is amazing. If you've never driven one of those cars, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's stupid.
It's so fun.
The sound
is amazing. The
stock sound.
And how it sounds in the cabin. Like,
it's ridiculous.
It's not super insulated. Like, you get the sound in the cabin. It rips.
It really is a good drive. And now the thing is, the only thing that I would say that doesn't prepare you for the supercar world is the actual like setup of the car, it being like front engine, comparative, everything like that. But in all reality,
but there's not a lot of mid-engine.
There isn't. Like the only thing would be like the base C8. But then again, that doesn't really prepare you because you feel it like normal, but like the power and everything else, it's not really there.
Also, one of the other questions was C8 or C7 Z06. And C7 Z06 is the easy answer.
Easy clear. Yeah, easy
the
clear. The
C7s, I get it. When the C8 came out and it was new, I probably would have picked it. Like, cool car.
Yep.
It's great looking mid-engine, everything like that. But the C7 Z06 is so much better.
You can't beat 650 horsepower, 650 torque for like 60 grand.
And it sounds so much better.
It does. You just can't beat that. And I think reliability, semi-reliability.
What is the sound of the C7 Z06? What it is, it revs up so quickly that it cracks when you mash it.
Barks at you.
Yeah, it's like wow.
It barks at you.
Like a lot of cars, like even like my Aston, when I rev it, it's a slower rev, so it's vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
The C7 Z06 winds up. Whap, whap.
And then plus you hear the supercharger a little bit. So when you get that plus the like that, those two noises,
and when you're going 80 and then you just step on it on the highway and get a little wheel spin and then it grips and then just takes off on you and you're like, how does this car rip so hard?
It's crazy.
I
think that's the best answer.
That's such a good car. I think that's a pretty good answer. I'll give a different answer for the sake of it. Shout out the 4C. I think the 4C is a good car.
Throw that in there. Yeah, I give it to you.
I loved it a lot when I had it. So thinking of it as a stepping stone. If you've never really had a sports car or something like that, that car is a great car to start with. It's like super light, not crazy powerful, but looks really exotic. Handles amazing, super lightweight, extremely unique driving experience. Give that a shot. That was a great like first kind of exotic for me.
To even feel the world out. That's a great starter car.
Now, I don't appreciate it as much as I did when I had it because my new car, I really have really loved. And that's kind of the pitch I'm going to give you now. I think the Aston Martin V8 Vantage is the best sports car you can get for 50 grand. No, I think the Aston Martin V8 Vantage is the best car you can get at $50,000 today.
Over everything.
And
you're lucky I don't know the 50K market well enough.
No, I'll give you a couple reasons. So that car, it's not going to be the fastest car that you can get at 50 grand. But I completely expected that car to be heavy, slow, kind of like lifeless, you know? I really wanted it because it was sexy. Like I was like, that's a sexy car. It sounds good. It's an Aston Martin. It's got that presence. Like
Moniker.
I wanted that car because how it was going to make me feel superficially.
I understand you.
And we play the Instagram game.
Yep.
So I was like, I wasn't really expecting to enjoy the drive as much as I do. That car has so much character. It's like, it's shocking. It shocked me because you think it's like a comfortable cruiser, like the gentleman's car.
Right.
That is a sports car.
Full blown
Through and through. It's really not that heavy. It's lighter than a C8 Corvette. It's a naturally aspirated V8 motor, 420 horsepower. And and the transmission is like not good. It's a single clutch transmission.
Single clutch.
But as you know, it's kind of fun.
It gives experience and like almost like a fun to the drive.
Yes. It adds a weird bit of character that's kind of fun. Like it's more fun than just a regular automatic.
Yes.
So it's not as
when you appreciate driving.
Yes.
When you appreciate driving.
If you have a dual clutch, the car needs to be good because the dual clutch is so good.
Yes.
So the whole experience has to be amazing if it's going to shift as fast as it does. This car is not as fast as some other cars, and the transmission is also slower, but it all kind of like plays into each other to create a more enjoyable experience.
Overall.
It
Honestly makes a lot of sense.
Also, hydraulic steering, which is like what McLaren does. Very, like, you feel everything in the road. So as far as, again, like being comfortable, all that stuff, you're getting so much feedback in the steering wheel from the hydraulic steering, almost even more than my 4C, which was manual steering.
The course is going to kill me.
Corsa's on.
Course is scratch the back of Gavin's cat.
What are you doing? Can you go to a...
Let's just keep rolling.
So, yeah, you feel a lot. And then the last thing, it's an Aston Martin.
It's true.
Like everything in there, you sit in it, everything's covered in leather, not just any leather, thick, high quality, soft leather, everything. The cup holder, leather inside, like everything's leather or metal. So all the trim is wood or like
craftsmanship is just
actual like aluminum metal. Like it's cold to the touch, it's heavy. So like the craftsmanship is amazing. Like that car makes you feel so good when you're driving around in it. And then just, the image, it's like it's one of the most timeless designs like we talked earlier. I don't know how I'm going to cut this into a clip because I can't stop. But there's so many reasons as to why that's such a great car.
Talk your shit.
And when you look at the $50,000 market, the only thing you can find at $50,000 is faster cars. That's it. That's the only, is if you put all the categories against each other, faster is the only category you can find better under 50. You can find Camaros that are faster, Mustangs that are faster, Challengers that are faster, like American muscle cars that are faster. But this car also handles amazing. The suspension's really good. Very little body roll. It's super planted. Like this car is a sports car. It really surprised me because that's not the reputation of Aston Martin.
It's not at all.
It's like
that's a cruiser GT.
Old man cruiser GT. Take your lady on a road trip kind of car.
Yes. Go to dinner in it.
It is not.
Fucking
it is not.
Whip it.
And the automatic mode sucks because of that single clutch. So it just like lurches you at random times. So you have to drive it in like the paddle mode. You have to.
So it makes a single clutch experience the paddle mode.
So that car is amazing. You still haven't driven it. Crazy. I've had it for a month.
You haven't even driven the Aventador yet, which is crazy.
That's crazy too. We're just too busy all the time.
That's all that it is.
We barely have time to do anything.
I'm telling you, that's one of the things that Gavin and I don't even really talk about too, which is absolutely insane. This podcast and everything that's come from it has spawned us to be so busy that we've gotten away from being able to just like the whole reason we started this is because we used to just hang out, eat, and talk shit. Now we don't have time to do the beginning of the whole reason why we're even here.
Now Joe owns like my dream car that I've never driven and I've wanted to drive one forever. And I've had probably 5 opportunities to drive it now, but there's never been time for me to just go, hey, toss me the key. I'm finally going to rip this.
Let's rip this.
Still, I probably won't even drive it tonight, to be honest. There's not gonna be time. We're gonna go to dinner. We got some things to talk about. And I gotta get home.
Yeah, I know.
So one of these days I'll try I want to drive this car so bad, but like literally we're so
on the right
busy.
time though.
Right.
Like not rush it.
Right. I don't want to just hop in and just do it. Like I've waited so long to drive this car that I can't that's part of why I haven't driven it yet. I've had the opportunities to jump in maybe and just rip it down the street and back, but it's got to be more than that.
No, it's got to be like a full blown.
It's got to be a full blown
experience.
I need at least 20 minutes behind the wheel.
Because you're gonna complete like a childhood dream.
Yeah, exactly.
Like literally, like I did. Like when I got it, like I ripped it and stuff like that. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Right. It's kind of like when I first drove the Ferrari, like up and down the street, compared to then driving it in the Crest. I'm not saying we need to go take this up to the Crest, but like I drove the Ferrari up and down the street, and I was like, oh, like that was my childhood dream.
Right.
And then really driving the car, now you know how much I love that car.
Yeah, you really do love that.
Amazing car.
Crazy, huh?
So, that's how busy you are. What a rabbit trail though.
You love that Aston though.
I do love that car.
It's very evident though. I can't hate on it. It's very evident. You love that car.
And it's just, dude, it's gorgeous.
It is.
We're rolling up to Monterey. I jump in Benji's car. I'm driving his car for the first time, and he's in my car, and I'm just watching my car roll down the road.
It looks so clean.
It's so clean. So I do love that car. I don't know how long I'll have it, and I'm sure I'll love the next car more, and I'll talk about that. It'll be the best car ever. But for now, it's amazing. I'm really enjoying it.
We have any more questions, or is that it for the questions?
We can kind of move forward.
One of the things,
best questions?
like I think even talking about like segueing into something else was, think about when we started this journey 1 calendar year ago. how many cars we've driven since then. Like
Yeah.
literally, like we even when we first
You've driven
started
more than I
this-
have.
and you've driven a lot.
I've driven a lot.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like even like when we started this,
You've driven a
podcast-
Bugatti.
Think about how crazy
You've
that
driven
is.
a Chiron.
I've driven a fucking Chiron now. That's, you know how wild that is. Like when we started this podcast, not that we didn't have a ton of experience, right? But we had a good amount of experience driving sports cars in general. Supercars was a little bit of a different story.
You
but
had
like,
it here and there.
here and there, the experience, right? But since we started, it's like, it's just crazy. It just goes to show you that when you put your mind to something and you're like, we are going to go about accomplishing this, with you put a very specific amount of energy towards something and you put effort into it, the rest just kind of comes to you naturally. Like it just kind of, you find a way to make it happen. Like we literally got from the 458, driven that car, Huracan, whipped the hell out of that thing.
Perf. Supercharged.
Perf, supercharged perf, absolutely ridiculous.
720.
720,
R8.
all the R8, the VA R8, V10 R8, what else? All like Aventadors, SVJs,
Chiron.
what else? Chiron, like
We didn't
that.
say that one.
It's just
F8.
That one's crazy. F8, 488. What else have I driven? I'm trying to think of anything. 812. I drove 812 super fast. Trying to think what else we've driven on this whole journey. There's just so much that it's just like even stuff you don't even appreciate, like whipping G63s, like
Yeah.
that becoming like a
AMG
normality.
GT.
AMG GTs, like just everything. Like it just, everything becomes a normality to it where almost not you get numb, because I feel like we're still not 100% numb to it.
Right.
But you come to realize that like it's just so not attainable, but like you're there.
GT3.
GT3 with an R1 exhaust. Shout out to Joe from Level Cars.
I'll say I'm
Turbo S. Sorry, sorry, just popped in my brain.
things that I, because this was even one of the questions about like things getting old, right? Do you get used to supercars? Seeing supercars doesn't excite me nearly as much as it used to.
Agreed.
Going to a show, seeing cars parked there doesn't really excite me any much. No. Getting behind the wheel of one for a short period of time isn't that exciting. If someone threw me the keys to something to go to Angeles Crest, I'd be fired up. Give me the day with a car.
Yes,
That would be great.
agreed.
But having the cars is different. Like having a car that's fun to drive, everything like that, and I just know I can go and jump into it anytime and go take a drive. When I'm feeling bored or having a iffy day, I can just go jump into an Aston Martin and rip it up the canyons just because it's there.
Just because then you're literally in your garage.
Like that does not get old.
No, never. Cullinan. Sorry, these cars are just
Cullinan.
Ghost. That Ghost.
Yeah.
Things are just popping into my head as left.
Because actually pushing the cars for me like never gets old.
No, I don't think it'll ever get old for me either.
Yeah.
It really won't. Especially because technology and like the way cars are ever changing and like they're feeling different and like there's so many different experiences. And then you add the modifications.
And then you go
to it.
backwards.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
what people go up and they're like, oh, you know what? I want a Carrera GT because I want to feel the mechanical again.
Yeah, like it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like then you add mods on top of it, driving like even remember like the silver Huracan we drove, and then driving the perf supercharged. So like just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where you think like, oh, how different can these experiences really be?
So different.
So different. It
So
really
different.
can be so different. So like even like I'll tell you like the testament for me, like this car the Aventador that I just got, when I got it, it had the stock exhaust on it. Cool, fulfilled the dream, still an Aventador. Then with the exhaust it has on it now, literally eons of difference. Like that is
not even close.
that is the one of the craziest things.
Not even close.
How the exhaust on this car can just change the damn thing. But like make it change it. Not like, okay,
Because sound is so important.
and this car is all sound. It stock sounds good. So then the exhaust, you literally amplify its best feature, and it literally makes the car 10x better. Not like it was a 6 before, now it's a 10. No. It was a 2 before, and now it's a 50. Like that's literally
Yeah, the exhaust.
the exhaust made that much of a difference for the car.
No, I agree.
It's absolutely. Oh, a 750. I got to drive a 750 the other day. I
Where?
didn't even tell you this. No.
No.
Shout out to Bo from O'Gara McLaren. He hit me up the other day, and it just so happened to be I was with Vidyana, and we were in Beverly Hills, and he texts me random. Like this is one of those weird universe type shit. He texts me. He's like, "Hey, when we went to the Father's Day Concurso show on Rodeo, I went to like I got invited by O'Gara, so we went like with them. I was talking to Bo, and I was like, dude, I want to drive a 750. He's like, I'll eventually get some more like demo cars, and I'll let you know. Floated it out there. I was like, this is not gonna happen. Come all of a sudden Sunday, like midday, he texts me, he goes, hey, you round? I got a 750. I think he texted me kind of being like, he's not going to be around. I was around, just so happened. So I was like, bet, I'm there. Pulled up, drove a Spider for like 5 minutes.
You pulled up in the titty?
I was in the Z06 at the time. The titty was getting the exhaust on. During that time frame,
right
I literally just pulled up real quick, boom, drove it. That car is crazy difference too. That car, the cool thing about the 750s, and we haven't really talked about this. Sorry to segue the topic like this.
It's all good.
What they did was they changed the dash. So like in the 720, how it has that like flip dash, that's no longer there. It's a stationary dash. But what they did was, you know how the 750 had like those fight module that you can like press and then active and then it changes the modes?
Yeah.
What they did was they incorporated it on like the sides of the dash. They positioned the steering wheel. So the whole point of it is if you're at 10 and 12 or 2 and, what is it called?
10 and 2.
10 and 2. You're at 10 and 2 like this, right?
10 and 12.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I drive at 12. But 10 and 2, you're like 12. This. Your bottom half of your fingers are on the pedals or on the paddles.
I got you.
Sorry, my brain is everywhere.
I got you.
Thank you. The paddles. And
anniversary episode, baby. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. This is literally Supercar Connection at its finest. Your other two top fingers are able to touch the modes. So you have your suspension and then your power on one side, your powertrain, your suspension. So basically made so that you don't ever have to move your hands off 10 and 2. You can shift with your bottom. And then if you want to, you literally just extend your fingers and go click up, click down, click up, click down. And there's no more active button. It just instantly changes. So it's very, very, very driver-centric car. Crazy driver-centric car. Like plug and play to the max.
Yeah.
But it's literally like a 720. That's it. Sounds pretty the same. Drives.
Looks pretty the same.
To be a buck with you, low-key 720 drives better. Because this car doesn't have accumulators in it. It's a different suspension system.
Are you sure?
Positive. Crazy.
So it's not as smooth, huh?
It's not that it's not as smooth. I don't know exactly how to attest it. It's just, I don't know. The 720 is the 720 drove better. I think it's the combination of the 720.
Someone fact check this dude.
Please fact check me. Because this is what I was told. So maybe I'm wrong, but this is from Ogara. So
yeah.
Shout out Ogara. But
come on, Bo.
The 750 felt a little more numb, but in a way where the 720 was smooth, but you still felt it. It was smooth, but you still felt it a little bit. 750 was all numb.
Got it.
You didn't feel crap.
Yeah.
Which again, for me, I don't want to feel nothing. I want to feel at least a little something.
Feel something.
Yeah. So then, but plus the sound not being anything, like there's nothing then. Like imagine a car. It's just speed.
It's a Tesla.
It's literally. It's a
Model S Plaid.
It's a Model S Plaid
that can turn.
Yes, and looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
That's literally it. So I was kind of like astounded by it. And this was a Spider too.
Astounded.
So when I took the top off, I was expecting the exhaust to be like,
yeah, nothing
crazy.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm shocked about it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But that just popped into my head on the driving. But I'm sure more cars will pop into my head.
We've driven a ton of cars. What would you say your top 3 moments from the year of Supercar Connection?
Moments in general?
Yeah.
All right, Bugatti driving was number 1. Has to be. Just because that's just a crazy thing to drive. Like see a hypercar was one thing. Like when we first started, seeing a hyper was wild. Okay. Then getting to the point where hypers kind of became like not casual, but like I'm used to this now. Then to being able to sit in one, we sat in that one. We're like crazy.
Yeah.
To then driving it, that was uberly wild.
Sure.
That was probably number 1 moment. Number 2 moment. Does that have to be podcast specific or like things the podcast gave me? Like, can I pick getting this car as number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would say you wouldn't have this car if we didn't.
I wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, is it podcast like here moments or like what the podcast has given us?
Yeah, everything podcast related.
This is number 2. Crazy. Like again, dream car of the two of ours. Checked off a bucket list type shit.
I can't even believe I would have even. I mean, I can't believe you don't put this at number 1.
Trust me.
You drove a Bugatti, but
yes. It's just the only reason why it's not number 1 is because maybe it's my own mental, but like I have no idea when that Bugatti will, like me driving that car, will be replicated. That's the only reason why it's hosting number 1. Because I'm in this now.
Right.
This is now my life. This is now what I'm doing daily.
That's why I'm like, that's
It's crazy.
because this is
It's wild, but I don't know when I'll ever replicate driving a Bugatti. That's the only reason why I hold it at 1. And then number 3, I don't know if I can pick a specific moment for number 3, but number 3 is just like all the guests, like the whole world of having guests on the show, on top of becoming friends and making connections with everybody.
Yeah.
How everybody is, how amazing everybody's been.
the network that we have now.
The network we have now, the different dynamics you learn about,
Right.
everything that goes into just meeting more people and having people on the show, seeing different perspectives, the benefit it gives us in terms of you and I learning from these people, like just all of it.
Yeah.
I think that would be number 3. It's just overall guess. How about yourself?
Number one for me is easy. Do you know it?
No, let's hear it.
Number 1 is Huracan and 458 and Angeles Crest.
Yeah, that was a top tier moment.
That's number 1 moment for me.
We
That
were
was
ripping up there.
We were ripping.
We were driving those cars hard as fuck.
Yeah, like that was my first time driving a Lamborghini, which is, I'm a Lambo boy, so like that was a dream come true in itself. And then being able to do it somewhere like Angeles Crest, really rip that car, make noise, get rowdy, drive, just have fun, right? And then we get to the top and we swap, and I take the 458 down, which just is absolute butter in the canyons.
The sound.
By the time we got back down the mountain, I was like, that's the experiences I'm chasing after.
Why we started.
No,
Like that was a prime example of
For
like
sure.
us being like, let's go after whatever this is.
no, exactly. And I'm still going after that. Like, because the Aston, I'll take in the canyons for sure. But that's not a 458 or a Huracan in the canyons. I want the McLaren 600 LT that I just go grab the keys and go to Angeles Crest and just rip up Angeles Crest.
Yeah.
And I get to the top and people are like, wow, dude, props to you for like driving this car up here, right? Not even that I really care about that, but that's what I want. I want to be able to grab the car to one of the best like little handling machines out there, rip it up the crest, rip it down, make noise, all that stuff. Like that's what I'm chasing after. And that day was that in 2 different cars. So like that day for me, easy number 1. That day was one of the most fun days I've had in my life. It was incredible. So, 2, 3, I don't want to just steal your answers.
No, but because that's the whole thing. You and I do this together.
Sure.
So like for us having the same experience, you steal my answers because it's at the end of the day, this is you and me. So
Yeah.
if we have the same answers, fuck them. We have the same answers.
Getting,
If you don't like it, suck it.
yeah, getting the Aston Martin, anytime you buy a car, it's big. So getting that car, which the only reason I bought that car was largely because of the podcast.
Bro, an Aston.
And I love that car. It's an Aston Martin.
Before we started the podcast, did you ever fathom that you would own an Aston Martin? Like honestly.
So I fathomed I would own something nicer. Like I wouldn't say I didn't fathom I would own an Aston Martin.
Specifically?
Well, because I would never achieve that level. It's more so I was never that interested in them until it became one of the only options for me that made sense. And I'm so glad it did. And the new Vantage, the 650 horsepower one, like
That's a bad car.
in 3 years when that's $100,000, I want one of those
That car's bad.
because that's going to be $100,000 in 3 years. And the interior is so
Guaranteed.
Yeah, the interior in those cars is so much better than the current generation. The exterior looks so much better than the current generation. Like they fixed everything that was wrong with the V8 Vantage today.
They fixed it.
That car is, I think it's going to be amazing, and it's also gorgeous. Like it's like this generation level gorgeous to me.
I agree with you. No, the design on it is absolutely stupid.
Yes,
I do agree. I think that
everything
car's-
where the last one fell short on, they fixed it.
Yes.
So that car, I'm kind of becoming a little bit of an Aston bro. Their merch sucks. No good Aston merch out there.
No.
So I don't know what to do. I want a hat. I don't even wear hats. I want a shirt or something.
Really? There's no like douchey jacket or something? That's nothing?
Nothing. All the Aston stuff is like the Formula One racing team, which is
Yeah,
kind
it's
of like
kinda
its
McLaren.
own branding.
It's McLaren too. McLaren's the same way. They just have like F1 Formula stuff. Like, you know that vest I have? It's like a Formula One vest. That's all they have. It's a British. It's the British brand. It's all it is.
Yeah.
It's stupid as.
So I don't know, but meeting all the guests has been awesome. I think just, it's hard because you want to just say all the experiences, but then you're trying to pin it
You
down
gotta
to one
pinpoint
experience.
At least half-ass pinpoint one.
Yeah, I mean, when you pulled up in the Ferrari, that was pretty crazy, and because it was like, we're doing this.
That experience was not talked about ever enough. But partly the reason why I took that leap was betting on this.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I always wanted a supercar. Did I ever think that I would really get there and when I would? I had no idea. But this gave me the reason to bet in that direction. So when that opportunity came, I was like, yeah, I'll get the car. We'll use it. We'll do it, brand it, marketing. It'll promote me, like the whole nine. Let's take a risk. So without this and the reason for promoting that car would have never happened.
Yeah.
So that was more than just like me, Joe, buying a supercar. Like that was not the point of it.
Pulling up in that car, and then even just like the day that we went in, and I was like, we really just like, this is it. We just jump in the Ferrari.
We went to Soho House that day?
Yeah. That like just realizing this, like, this is life now. And it has been since. Like, we're just always around these cars.
It's gotten even crazier since then.
It's gotten even crazier. But it's just like, we went from just two friends with a normal life who like cars and had a couple kind of cool cars to just going all into it.
Going absolutely stupid.
And there's been so many experiences, but I think those are kind of the top three for me.
I think those are great experiences.
Where are we going?
That's the whole crazy thing is like, you talk about just the top three. There's so many more moments that we didn't even touch on. Like that, it's just crazy. Like one thing I think honorable mention was the most recent car meet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is an honorable mention.
That was crazy.
Because you just think about like, and I think it's perfect timing too, because like now that we're wrapping up season one, gonna go into season two, talking about the year and recap. We threw a car meet beginning of January. So what is that like? That was what, 5 months into the podcast, right around there. Let's call it the midpoint of like actually starting. And then we were about to hold, I think right after we held one of our first actual like bigger guest episode. We had a guy named Will Collette on, Bill Co. Shout out Bill. Shout out Will.
Shout
out
Will.
One of our good friends now to this day. Great guy. But like we held that car meet. That was us pulling up the resources and connections we had at the time to make the best out of whatever we can make out of. We gave out free shirts. George from Corsa Galleria, where we're at right now doing this podcast, we did it at his old location. So we collabed with him together. He had his clientele, our followers. And then what happened was that day that, again, I don't even know if we talked about the moment enough on the podcast, but we had genuine people with supercars that showed up because they literally just listened to us. You know how wild a moment that was that went, wait a second. People that own supercars, like the whole thing that we're trying to do, are actually listening to us to the point where they saw the meet and went, we're going to go support these people.
Yeah.
That was the click moment where I was like, are we doing this?
Shout out Leo.
Shout out Leo. Exactly. Like that whole moment was absolutely insane to me. So then fast forward that midpoint to only 6 months, not a whole calendar year from that moment, just another 6 months. We held another car meet at Novara Motorsports. Shout out Novara. We filmed multiple episodes there. Thankful for them and everything they do for us. Between Novara, Cosm, because Cosm has his own individual brand, so I'll Cosm. Supercar Connection. We had one of the craziest car meets I've ever seen. 1,000 people with 5 days of promotion.
5 days.
1,000 people.
We just sent it.
SVJs, SVs, S's, all kinds of just cars in general. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
millions of dollars worth of cars.
Millions of dollars worth of cars, sponsors, brands, all kinds of things, DJ booth, like the whole nine. And that was only in 6 months of difference. Not a full calendar year from the car meets.
With 5 days of planning.
5 days of planning. Like, can you imagine now another 6 months from this point with actual marketing and backing and stuff like that? That's why we tell you guys season 2, a lot is going to come your way. It's just insane. But just to see the scale of difference, but that is an honorable moment.
Yeah.
Honorable mention moment.
And the guests, again, I'm excited about the guests we're going to have on.
Guest lineup's going to be crazy. You guys have no idea what's coming next. But just, I don't even know the moments. It's just, I'm thinking about everything. It's just crazy. Who is your favorite guest we've had on?
My favorite guest?
Yeah. And I'm willing to answer this question, and all the guests see this and be like, wow, you're your favorite guest? I'm willing to answer this question. I'll answer it truthfully.
I'll answer it. I'll give you a truthful answer. You want to
go first?
You're going to put me in the hot seat? I'll say it.
Because I want to say it. I'm down to go in the hot seat.
I want to say it.
You go. Go.
Because I'm afraid you're going to say the same thing.
Go.
Shout out to Austin, Valvetronic. Dude, I love that guy. Austin is absolutely hilarious.
Austin is a
and everything if you watch that episode, go back, watch that episode if you haven't. If you're watching this episode, you probably watched that episode. How he is on that podcast is how he is in life.
No difference.
He's so funny. So fun to be around. So we linked up with him again at Car Week. Bro, he's hilarious.
He's organic. He's like, that's the whole thing that I love about him is, like you said, there's no translation of the way he is.
No.
He didn't turn on for the camera. He didn't turn on because he was meeting us. Like, he's genuinely the exact same human being in any walk of life, any setting.
Just cracked out all the time.
That's very respectable. Like, you can't hate on a guy that does not change or bond or anything. Granted, nothing wrong with that.
It's not just like YouTube personality. He flips it on.
No.
He's like that.
He's a cartoon character brought to life.
Yes.
Literally. It's not a bad answer.
What's your answer?
My answer is, I don't know. My answer is a little bit, kind of a weird reason, my answer, but mine is shout out Sal, Sith Lord Chamba.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Dude, that was fun.
For me, that episode was kind of like,
I want to shoot with Sal again.
I think Chamba should get a part 2 because his garage has already changed enough where he's worth it, which is absolutely stupid. If you guys watch that episode, he might have the craziest, PJ from Exotic Car Hacks. PJ, man.
And we had a technical difficulty
PJ's a great
with the
guest
audio.
too.
Oh, yeah.
PJ's a crazy
guest. And that's crazy because like I've been seeing PJ's stuff since like he started Exotic Car Hacks over a decade. Like I've known who PJ is for so long.
That's why Chamba's my answer.
Yeah.
Because in my whole separate walk of life, I've been following Chamba for like 5 years. And it's not like I'm into sports betting or anything that he does. It's just him. Like I was like Latin dude, tats, jewelry, high life, cars. I was like, that's me. I was like, that's my shit right there.
Yep.
That's my style.
You're into it.
So when we got the opportunity, when we were like trying to pick guests, stuff like that, and we're like, maybe this guy would be interested. And he was like, yeah, let's run it. I was like, this is wild. Then actually going there and just what it was I had been seeing his garage and his life for so long on Instagram to just be sitting there filming, kind of one of those like taking it in moments and go, what the heck are we doing? Like, am I really sitting here with Chamba and his dogs and everything between sipping, like just filming this episode right now?
Sipping Class A and squirt.
That's what I'm saying. With the SBJ and the pista in the background.
Yeah, bro.
That was a full circle for me, but like a side quest full circle.
Ultra side quest.
So like to connect my prior life of just me, just like aspiring to live his dynamic to the whole supercar realm and everything we were going, merging the two.
Yeah.
That was why he was my favorite guest. And plus, could not have been a more down-to-earth, humble, super cool dude. That was the craziest thing either. You see a guy like that and you automatically are like, he has to be a certain type of way. He could not have been farther from that stereotype of type of guy.
Yeah.
Like
Chama's awesome.
Chamba fucks so hard.
What a cool dude.
Like
he was so nice too. Like we pulled up, like he was just so, he was so cool. So hospitable.
My thing, he's very soft-spoken.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that was surprising to me. Like he's very just like opinionated, obviously, because when you get that big, you can't not be opinionated. But like the way he's soft-spoken, the way he talks, stuff like that. Like take him and compare him to Austin. Austin is literally like, said, cartoon brought to life.
Yeah.
And then Chamba's just like, yeah, man, like, you know, you got to do this, this, and this. And like you just look at the two dynamics, and they're just so drastically different. But again, at the end of the day, very genuine, down-to-earth human beings, the two of them. But that's why I'm willing to answer that question, because at the end of the day, we've filmed with enough people, we've been around enough dynamics to be able to say the harsh truth. And then shout out to all the other guests that got hurt by the fact that they didn't get picked as my favorite guest. I still love you, Kasim, everybody else in between KP and all the boys.
What about dream guest?
Dream guests, like people that we want to have on?
Yeah. Is there someone that you're like, they're still big on my list
to have on?
Like Chamba, I feel like was almost like would have been one of your dream guests.
They were.
You followed him for so long, and then that just happened. Especially kind of early on in the process when we probably had no business sitting down with him.
We were just coming up.
Yeah,
just take a
coming
shot.
up, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, I follow you guys. I like your reels. Your stuff is funny. Let's run it."
Thank you, Gavin. That just touched my brain too. Going on Chamba, I remember going to be like, I'm going to DM Chamba. Clicking on Chamba's profile and seeing the follow back button, I was like, what? I was like, wait, I was like, what the? I was like, what? That was a crazy realization moment. Dream guess, if I had to pick somebody that today, I don't know, because I'm not, maybe it's a little bit my mentality change. I'm not as fanboy for anybody anymore. But if I had to pick one person.
Is it still not full circle with someone that like, because I kind of feel that way. Like there's one person, I'll just give
you
the
go
answer.
first.
Like Salamandran is not someone I fanboy about like anymore necessarily because I'm an adult.
Right.
Right.
Grown man.
I'm doing my own stuff now. But like I've been following him since I was a teenager.
Right.
Like way back. And he was kind of like the big and he was so early to like the in-car influencer game. So I used to watch like all of his videos. I loved his stuff. Like I loved watching him. I liked his opinions. He was very opinionated and was unfiltered. I enjoyed all that. So like having him on, and I'm sure we will at some point.
We will.
At this point, like we know people who know people at this point. So like
It's inevitable.
I'm sure we'll sit down with him. But he's one of the OGs in the car creator spaces.
Yes.
And I followed him for so long that like sitting down with him is going to be kind of like one of those experiences.
Like
You're
just kind of looking
wow,
and going, I'm really doing this.
I'm really sitting down with him. You know?
It'll happen too.
Yeah.
We'll speak that into existence.
And then obviously I've said this before, Jay Leno is like my ultimate guest. So,
Jay Leno.
because it's Jay Leno.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's the king of cars. So,
Can I pick two?
yeah.
Yeah?
I just kind of did. So,
I'm down for it. I think because they're dream guests in two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I had to pick one dream guest that I think is actually like not that the other one isn't achievable, but it's more like, you know, if you want to be grown and be like relatively realistic, kind of like talking about like Salamandrin, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's Manny Koshman.
yeah.
Because I've been following Manny for the real estate side of things for a while.
We've been following Manny a long time too. That is gonna be surreal.
That's gonna be a surreal one,
We'll
right?
sit down with Manny for sure.
Because here's the thing about it, and
That's
like,
gonna be hilarious.
and like, I hope we can. I would love to just clip this up and send it to Manny directly. We're so close to Manny, but people don't understand what that means. Like our circles and what we do, and all the Manny's people, our people, like it's all intertwined. It's all about just scheduling it and sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
So like that being so crazy, and Manny has one of the craziest car collections. He's a personality. He's been around for so long, but it's not even a fact of like, oh, are we ever going to be able to sit down with Manny? No, it's literally of when can we make it happen?
How many Manny clips have we sent each other?
A ton, a million. Manny, like, and this is no hate to Manny, but Manny's just such a peculiar human being. Gavin and I have been following him together in our own separate lives for years. So back when before Supercar Connection was even a thing, we would send each other Manny clips of him just talking about his Mercedes or whatever he had, his Bugatti, his Hermes Bugatti matching with everything. And we're just like, we want to be there. Like we would send in the clips because he's talking about his Jacob & Co. matching Hermes watch to his matching Hermes Bugatti. And we go, one day, that'll be us. So to be able to sit down with him, that's dream guest number one. Number two is dream guest for, and before I say the person, because I'm low-key blanking on his name, which is kind of embarrassing.
Wow.
Yes, but it's a concept. If we get to this point where we're sitting down with this guy, where he's at his place, I don't know how I'm going to feel. Because it's going to be like a real, what the hell are we doing at that moment?
And now you can't even tell me because you don't remember his name.
Oh, I can explain it and you'll know who I'm talking about. I just don't remember his damn name.
Okay.
The rental guy in Dubai.
Oh.
What is his damn name? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He follows us.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he's a fan.
I can picture his blue eyes right now.
Right now. I'm looking at his dreamy eyes right as he looks back into ours.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're ever at a point where we're in Dubai at that place filming that, I'm going to go, what the fuck?
You know what's crazy? It's going to happen.
It's exactly. I know it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
When it happens, I'm going to be like, how did we get here?
What is that, like a late next year thing, or is that like a 2027 thing?
Dude, in all reality,
2026. Yeah.
In all reality, man, I don't want to even say it's too crazy, but it's a season 2 thing, in my opinion, for sure.
You think like late next year we could be in Dubai?
Yeah. I don't even think late. I think next year we could be in Dubai.
Yeah.
I don't want to say late. Like I think at some point next year we could be in Dubai. I really think so. It's just absolute insanity because it's
hard because I'm thinking about where I am. It's not even just about like getting him on. We could have him on. I think if we were in Dubai, hit him up, he's on. It's more so what's standing between me and being in Dubai feels like more than 6 months of stuff right now.
I get you. I get the concept 100%.
That's why I'm saying late next year.
Because even work and stuff like that, like taking the time to go to Dubai and stuff like that. Because I don't want to go to Dubai to just go and come back. Like, I'm trying to go to Dubai and go to Dubai.
So you have the time, the money,
yes,
like
the whole nine that goes into it.
Yes. Me and going to Dubai for a week feels like more than 6 months away. But
I get what you're saying.
If Supercar Connection does what I believe it's going to do over the next 6 months,
it won't be.
Then you're looking at 8 months from now. 2 months after that 6 month mark of everything blowing up. I think that's totally realistic.
That's realistic because I would think, let's talk about this. If we were to go one place internationally, like what would be our first international place? Where would we take Supercar Connection internationally first?
That's a tough question. What's the goal?
I guess that's
if the goal is like to knock out a bunch of guests, I
I think I know what you're going to say, and it hates me that you're
London.
Yeah, damn it.
London has hey, bruv. London has the most people.
That's true.
Like creator wise.
It's true.
So,
I hate that it's true, but it's true.
There's the most guests. We could go there and rip like 5 episodes.
That's fair.
Easily.
That's fair.
Dubai would be fun, and Japan, I want to go badly.
Tokyo.
And we have people we could
We do
have
have
on
people,
there too.
We do have people.
And I actually might be going to Japan next year, so
That's
maybe you just
crazy.
need to overlap that a little bit.
That's the thing. You tell me make it happen, I could probably make it happen.
Yeah.
So especially when you give me time to plan it out,
Yeah, I
Anything happen with the plan.
haven't planned out that trip yet, but
but we can make that happen.
might be going to Japan next year.
We'll see.
If you want to overlap a couple days, you know,
We got to take Benji with us then, because we can't not take the Chinese kid to Japan.
yeah.
That's fair.
What about D Jordan Media?
D. Jordan Media's coming with us too.
Yeah, we got D Jordan Media.
Yeah, that's the full team right there.
Y'all don't even.
You guys don't even know. Benji Jimachecki, D. Jordan Media, that's the full team. People don't even know. That's behind the camera.
It's wild.
Yeah. And honestly, huge shout out to the two of them too. Without them, we wouldn't even be sitting here at this point either too. They are big as a testament to this as we are. So it's absolutely crazy that we're sitting here too.
Benji is
that.
always behind the scenes. The only times he hasn't been behind the scenes,
He had his own
the episode is not as good.
That's literally, that's all that it is. Every time Benji's not around, the episode is a little bit quality and stuff like that. Benji had his own episode. Benji was a fun guest too at that time.
And Benji's clips ran
Benji's clips ran up a bag too. Absolutely ran up a bag.
because he's over there just saying wild stuff.
Literally, he just says whatever he wants to say, whatever he wants to say. That's one thing I respect about him though. What else we got?
Car week.
Oh my goodness. I don't know, man. Car, you want to dive into car? You want to start?
We don't have to go you don't have to go super deep into it. But
Well, no, because the only reason I say that is because I'm going to talk more negatively about it than you are. That's
Okay.
it. So you started off, and let's get the positives going. From
Sure.
Week before I shit
so
on it.
I've always wanted to go to Car Week. Always.
Yes.
Always. And then when we get back to it, I'll say what it needs to be in the future.
All right.
What Car Week is actually about,
Let's do
I
it.
think is I have a better idea. I don't know if you have a better idea.
half-ass.
So I've always been a big dream of mine to go to Car Week, and finally went. So
Didn't even just go. Like we went.
we went.
We drove.
We drove.
We're in shit. Like
Stayed
we-
there for multiple
yes.
days. I was rolling around Car Week in an Aston Martin. People were taking pictures of me.
I'm gonna say the douchiest thing I've ever said. We were there like as influencers. Like we were in the scene of that world, which for me was kind of like not like a wake up call, but just kind of like we're here. Like
Yeah.
when it comes to being important in this world, we have arrived, which is the weird crazy thing for me. But continue. Sorry.
Humbly, of course.
Humbly, of course,
Humbly,
always.
of course. So, yeah, I think the coolest thing about Car Week is just rolling around and seeing crazy stuff, like stuff that you wouldn't see on the road. That's the cool thing. Because going to a show, whatever, I went to Exotics on Broadway, you see 18 Koenigsegg's, 18 Paganis, you see Bugattis, you see all the crazy stuff, SSC Tuatara, I've never seen one. Like you see all this stuff. But there's so many people. They're
Sitting there, though.
And they're just sitting there behind ropes. Like, it's not that exciting.
No.
Then you see a Utopia cruising down the road. And then you see a Valkyrie cruising down the road. And then you see a Super Sport cruising down the road. And you see a Vector W8. There's 16 of them in the world driving down the highway. Like, that's the stuff that I enjoyed. Like, seeing the cars driving. You're like, that's not a car.
Because that you never see.
That's not a car you see driving down the street. And it's driving down the street. You see that at the show, which is not as exciting. Seeing it driving down the street and just seeing a car rolling looks so much different than a car park.
100%.
You know?
Because you get to see it in a totally different angle. Like, you get to see it in a totally different
You
light.
see it in motion.
Yes, and it speaks a whole testament to the way how beautiful it makes the car look even more beautiful than when it stands still.
Yeah, because all the angles are changing.
That I agree.
So-
That's probably I think that's probably the best part about Car Week is that specific.
That was the coolest thing.
That's it.
And like I would hang around Carmel more. Like if I went back in time, I would have just hung around downtown Carmel more.
Yep.
I just drove down, parked, and just walked around, grabbed lunch, walked around, because that's where people are driving like through.
Yeah.
And we'd stop by and come in and you'd see a Bugatti here or Koenigsegg there or whatever. But if you're just there for several hours, doing your thing, walking around, taking it in, you would see so much stuff throughout those hours
Absolutely
in Carmel.
insane stuff. We saw Stradman.
Yeah.
Like we were just passing by, and I remember seeing his Koenigsegg, looking at it. That's a nice car. Then I looked at the driver and went, Stradman. I literally was like, "What's up, Strad?" he was just like one of those things. I was just like that. This is Car Week.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense.
Remember stealing our clip?
Yeah, literally. Fucking
Iced coffee hour.
Am I allowed to say? I was like, iced coffee hour, man. Bro, come up
That's
with the
what the
original
most
stuff.
overrated car was. To Stradman.
This is, I don't know.
And he said the most answered question,
Yes.
which I want to say, we've had like 28 people on this podcast now. We've talked to 28 people in the supercar industry related to supercars somehow. And we have asked them what the most overrated car is. Do you know what the number one answer has been?
Hands down. Not even
Hands
close.
down.
Not even close.
Front runner by far.
The
Of course you do.
Porsche GT3 RS.
RS.
Not even close.
The GT3 RS was the number one answer for most overrated car.
To be fair, to talk some light to it, everyone's had the relatively same reasoning for it, is the monetary value.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Which, yeah.
And again,
I wanted to talk about that some.
you want to talk about it right now?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Because like there's reason, in my opinion, there's reason why cars are overrated. So like some cars have, like for example, Aventador could be overrated because it doesn't drive well. It's kind of shitboxy, but the sound presence, okay. But again, the dollar amount is correlated to what you get.
Correlated to the experience.
Correlated to the experience. The GT3 RS, the only reason why it's super overrated, and this is me defending the stance, okay, because again, I feel like we've talked enough bash about it that I'll give it some light. The only reason why it's even the number one answer is only because of the monetary value. That car at $500K, you're an idiot. Like, I hate to say it, you're an idiot.
Are they still $500K?
I don't even know because I don't care because you're an idiot. Like if you're $450 on that car or more, you're like, I don't know how to tell you, you're just an idiot. Like, it's like you are overpaying. And this is one thing. People appreciate the fact to get an allocation on that car to overpay over sticker, which is its own thing. To kiss up to the dealerships and the whole branding and stuff like that, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. But
or if you get it at sticker, congrats to you.
That's a whole different thing. You get it at sticker, you take it, you're a genius. You make your money, you do your thing. Mm-hmm. But if you're buying it at that markup price, I can't sit here and defend you in any way because the car is not worth $400, $450, $500. And again, I'm going to steal PJ's line because it's beautifully said. And I'm going to say it like PJ. It's a $300K product in its best day, all day. And that's just the epitome of what it is. Yeah. Because the base GT3, this is me speaking here, is even overpriced as it is. $300K for the base GT3, there's no way in hell. Mid to low twos, all day, every day. I'm down for it. But just not going to happen. So when you
$300K?
I've seen some GT3s at 280, 289, 290, 300, some high spec GT3s. That's ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah.
But 220, 225, 240, 260, we can talk. But you put a brand new GT3 with a 3 in front of it as a price point, you're tripping. So then when you go to 450 on the GT3 RS, eat me.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. And I would also say when we started asking that question, you look at the beginning of the year, it's right when those cars started coming out and they were 500, 550. It was stupid what they were going for. So quickly it became the number one answer because it was overpriced.
That's it.
And I think that's how most people interpret. And that was even kind of the purpose of the question. Like, how is a car rated other than its market value, right? Because people are like, how is that car overrated? It's like, because people are paying $500,000 for it. I'm not talking about like, oh, the journalists rave about how good this car is and it's not actually as good as they rave it to be. Like, I'm talking about market value for the car. Even people, when I talk about wanting cars, like there was a moment we clipped up me talking about how every Porsche at the price point I could pick a car I'd rather have. People are going, well, that's new versus used. It's market value.
Yeah. No matter if it's new or used.
I'd rather have a 2017 2019 600 LT than a brand new GTS.
Agreed.
I know it's a new versus used, but like they're the same price. So how can I not compare them? Because if I was going out with $200,000 budget
right now,
those are two options.
Agreed.
And I'm never picking the brand new GTS. Never. I would pick the 600 LT 10 out of 10 times. I'd even pick the 600 LT over a used Turbo S that was $200,000.
I would as well.
Like, so that always, the new versus used thing is so funny because like I'll buy used.
I think
part of the market. Part of the market is used.
I think, to be honest with you, people don't realize that used is more of the market than it is new.
Right.
It literally is. Used is the market. Like it's literally what it is.
Yeah.
New is the new market price. But it's not new. Is not market price. It's set by the dealerships. They set their own thing, and then now or the manufacturers. Now the dealerships have their own markup adjustments, which is a new trend. If you want to talk about setting the bar, what market price is, it is used cars. It's literally what market price is. Because you take a car that has a little bit of depreciation, but depending on the supply and demand, which creates a marketplace, that is the market price of a car. So the fact that people even say that is idiotic to me. Goes back to the same thing. You're an idiot. It's not my fault.
Right.
Don't hate on me because you're an idiot.
Yeah. That just makes me mad.
It does. And I understand why.
Like if I have a budget to go buy a car, I'm considering the used cars among the new cars at that price point. Which for me, since I'm not stupid rich, I'm pretty much never buying a new sports car.
Never.
Because the only reason you go and buy a brand new supercar is because you don't care about the 200 grand you're going to lose. You just don't care.
You don't give a shit.
You just don't care.
You care about the ease and convenience over.
And there are people out there, that's their life.
Believe it or not, and I think this is hard for people to grasp, how many people there are out there that really don't give a shit. There's people have money. Like there are a substantial amount of people out there that have a substantial amount of money that will walk into a dealership year after year and just walk off with brand new cars in the lot, lose 100, lose 100, lose 100, lose 100, because the time value of that 100K spent versus trying to accumulate a used car, the maintenance, whatever, they want a brand new car with warranty that they can turn their brain off, turn it back into the dealership, get it fixed, get it back. That's worth the 100K because that's what they make and that's their level. But people can't fathom that concept.
Or even a brand new Phantom. You go spend 700 grand for a brand new Phantom, you lose 300K after you put 5,000 miles on it. There are people that are okay with that because that guy that's spending 700K on a Phantom is not buying used cars.
No.
Wouldn't. Used? You think I'm going to buy used?
My leather's been greased before?
Someone's touched this car?
Are you crazy?
That guy is willing to lose 300 grand.
Yes.
And is not worried about it.
Because he can.
Because he can.
It's literally all
okay.
it is.
It's worth it to him.
And I know that's hard to grasp and stuff like that. Because again, initially for us, it was too, to a certain degree.
Right.
But now, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I understand it now.
I can accept that.
Very much so.
I can accept that. But for me, with a budget, used cars. So I'm always going to be comparing the new to the used price or the used to the used.
Literally.
Comparably.
Again,
you can do the same thing with Porsche. Go pull any used Porsche. Give me the budget for it. I'll probably find a car I'd rather have.
I guarantee you I'll find a car I'd rather have.
I'd find a car I'd rather have.
100%.
Doesn't mean they're not great cars. I think they're great cars. He's going to maybe disagree. Like, I think they're great cars. I think a lot of them are just severely overpriced for what I enjoy. So someone out there is getting it. I don't understand it.
You want to talk about something crazy?
I don't understand
This is just some idiotic thought that popped in my head because I saw a meme about it today. Talking about overpriced and just price point stuff like that. The new Revelto is like 1,000 horsepower, $1 million car. The
SF90?
SF90, 1,000 horsepower, stuff like that. Chevy really made a ZR1 with 1,000 horsepower. That's like going to be like 200K, 250.
It's probably a 250, right?
Think about that. There really is going to be a 1,000 horsepower car for 250,000. Like, I know it's not out and like we still got to see stuff like that, but like just think of the concept that like the Revelto can really be 1,000 horsepower and sell for $1 million.
Is it going to be 250?
So,
because think about it. Now you're looking at, you've got a 992 GT3 or a C8 ZR1. 1,000, you have double the horsepower and probably double the downforce.
Insanity.
Insanity.
So, if you want to dive into that for like a brief moment, we'll talk about it very briefly. Pricing on that car is going to stay traditional to the ZR1 structure that they've done in past years. They haven't done a lot of it. They did them on the C4s had ZR1s, C6s had ZR1s, and then the C7s had ZR1s. That price structure usually goes kind of similar to how the Stingray Z06 Grand Sport setup goes, usually like a 20 to 30, maybe 40 grand max difference, right? ZR1s are normally limited production. They're saying that these ZR1s are not going to be limited production, that they're going to crank them out if there's demand.
Really?
Which there will be.
They're just going to make them.
They're going to make them. They're going to make them based on demand, which there's going to be demand.
There's going to be demand.
A lot of them.
Probably so.
That's the whole thing, because it's a new market now.
Yeah.
They've evidently stated
it is a different market.
It's a different market now.
The last CR1 was selling for discount
when it first came out, and it was limited, and they announced it's limited. And because again, different buyer. different market. That car was the same buyer as a C706. They were trying to market that car to the same buyer, which didn't work, and it's not what it's going to work. That's this car. They're like, screw it, Ferrari, Lambo owners, do you want this? And they're going to be like, yeah, I want this.
Yeah.
So that's the whole
They're
thing.
going to be like, I want one.
I want one.
I've got this. I also want one of these.
Yes, exactly.
Because why not?
So they're going to make a lot more of them. The problem is if you look at a base Z06.
That's really what it is. You didn't have a guy with an SVJ go, ooh, I want a Z06.
I want a C7ZR1.
Yeah.
That's not what it was.
Now, a guy with an SVJ is like, I'm going to get the new ZR1.
Yeah, literally. 1,000 horsepower.
I'm not going to get rid of the SVJ,
250.
but I'm also going to get the new ZR1.
That's the craziest portion of it. Thank you, Gavin. You're beautiful. That's exactly what I'm trying. That's exactly.
I'm glad you think so.
It's exactly what it is. That car becomes now the touch of, like, for example, somebody that's like, what? For example, I have $250 to spend. What is the best bang for that $250? It's not even a close of a question.
Unfortunately, the question is, would you rather have a Huracan
or 1,000 horsepower ZR1? Would you? That's the whole thing.
No.
So going back to what we're saying, is it going to be 250? Yes and no. You'll be able to spec a car out and the true MSRP of the car be low 200s. They'll probably start high 150s, 160s. After you put the important options on it, you'll be at 220. You'll be at 240.
I think it might start at 200.
Even if it starts at 200, you can make them at 220, 240, 250.
Right.
The question is going to be is, what is the markup going to look like initially? How crazy is that going to be? A. How long is that going to last? B. And then on top of that, what is the option structure on that car? Because if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, prior ZR1 models weren't options. Like you couldn't option out a ZR1. It was a ZR1. It came like this.
There was a couple options.
On the C7s, what were the options?
There was the ground effects package.
Was like what, a couple G's?
I don't know what it cost. I just know not all of them had it. And then I don't even think
it was big wing, little wing. I remember
big wing, little wing.
Big wing, little wing.
Most of them have the big wing.
Yeah, but there are some that little. If you see a
big wing, little wing, and
then
the ground effects package, the whole side skirt, carbon side skirt, all the way around the car.
Those are two that we know for sure.
Yeah.
So I think these new ZR1s are going to be kind of like the Z06s, where you can go in a lot of different directions. You can put the whole. I don't want to call it Z07 because I don't know what's going to be called, but like
I'm guessing there's going to be one trim though.
It is. So that's the whole. Supposedly, what they're saying is one trim.
3LT,
3LZ,
3LZ,
Corvette World. Yeah.
ZR1.
Yeah, it should be that. Yeah. But I think it's going to be a lot more optioned, different that you can do it.
Yeah.
Like you'll be able to pick carbon trims inside,
carbon wheels,
carbon wheels, colored interiors, all that whole nine. Mm-hmm. You'll have your effects, your carbon packages outside. Your carbon fiber like wheels as an option. You'll be able to pick all your like kind of like ground effects, I guess.
Yeah.
Big wing, canards, all that stuff like that. Convertible, non-convertible, like the whole nine. They're going to make it a lot more optionable, which will mess with the price tremendously. But then again, it's not even that. It's dealer markup. So do I think they'll eventually be $250 and you can buy one for $250? 1,000,000%. Initially though, that's going to be a $300K plus car. Initially.
Yeah, for sure.
100,000,000%.
When they first roll out,
they're gonna be 300.
Yeah, because the last ones were 220 when they first came out.
Think about it.
So this will go 300 easily.
People will pay 300.
Yeah,
there will be buyers at 300, which is absolutely insane.
Because Huracan Perf.
Yeah, literally. Oh, even that. You take collectors that want
Evo.
like first edition ZR1s, like because they'll make a launch edition
for sure.
A launch color, launch edition, like the yellow. That'll be like a thing. You'll have a collector that will go. I don't know how many they're going to make. We'll see what happens. I'm going to buy one off rip. And again, you'll have some guys that will get them at dealer at MSRP because they're plugged in like that.
Yeah.
And then you'll have someone that wants it so bad they don't care. They'll pay the 300 over. But that car is going to be absolute insanity. But the whole reason we were talking about this is what I'm going back to my point was the scale of difference. That Lambo can make 1,000 horsepower car and it have a $1 million price tag. And then Chevy can make 1,000 horsepower car and it have a $300K price tag. You're talking about $700K difference.
Yeah.
Let's ask this question. Is the jump between a C8 ZR1 to a Lamborghini Relto worth the $700K difference?
Yeah.
You're crazy, bro. You're so crazy.
Because it's not.
How is it? What is different? The interior? Dual clutch is the same, bro.
You're-
the sound, if anything, the Revuelto's going to sound shittier.
Dude, you got to go back to the concept of what we were just discussing. If you're able to buy a $700,000 car, it's worth it. You know, like if you have the means to spend that much on a car, you're not spending that much more because it's that much better.
I get you.
You're spending it because it's a Lamborghini.
We're not talking about having the means.
The doors are going to go up. It's going to sound crazy. It sounds crazy once you get a system on it.
Gintani.
Yeah. So that's what you're paying for. You're not paying for the fact that it's a 1,000 horsepower car.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about Gintani now. How do we not talk about him?
Yeah.
Like how do we really sat down with Gintani?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's another one.
Our most viewed episode this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's a whole other thing that we would. This is an insane segue episode, but like even just sitting down with him and being like, we are sitting down with the king of exhaust.
Yeah.
Like the most renounced Aventador system exhaust. Being able to sit down with him.
Yeah.
That was a full.
I was so fired up for that episode because like when we got put in touch with him and he was down to do it, it was like that. It's like everyone knows Gintani. Even go to any Aventador post on Instagram and like look in the comments and people are mentioning Gintani.
No matter what.
Everyone know like the Aventador exhaust. People know Gintani, and I wasn't necessarily expecting him to have the views that he had on our full episode. The fact that there was like 17,000 views on the episode.
I wasn't expecting Alex's chubby ass to have a cult following, but that guy has a cult following.
People want to hear the guy talk. And you know, another amazing guest. Like Alex was awesome, super welcoming to us, like super everything, inviting us to stuff. I saw him at Car Week, said what's up. Like Alex is awesome.
So wants to build a system for this car, but
crazy.
Wants to make me wait, which is a whole different thing.
Yeah, and pay.
Yeah. Alex, come on, we're not doing that shit.
Only free exhaust here at Supercar Connection.
That's it.
We got the platform for free exhaust.
Yes, exactly.
He doesn't have time for free exhaust.
No, he doesn't. He's too big time.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
I respect.
He doesn't. He doesn't need
Because if
free
you
to
search
give
his
out
name,
free exhaust.
he's the first 12 YouTube videos that pop up.
13.
Yeah.
14. He's all over the place. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's the point we got to get to. Like, if anybody wants to ask, like, where are you trying to take this? I want Super Connection to be so big that Alex Gintani is begging me to promote his system.
Yeah.
I'll put that out there. That's the whole point of getting that big.
Yes.
But
just when all of our guests, we're not reaching out to them, they're reaching out to us.
That's the whole
which has, in a way, started.
Really does. It really has.
A lot of the guests that have come on, like even some of the big ones, that would
hit us up for interest.
Maybe shock you. I won't say who did what.
I was gonna say I was about to say it, but as soon as you said that, I was like, no.
But there's been we've a handful of the guests have asked to come on, and
Very
we're
much
like,
so.
definitely.
You'd probably be surprised.
Run it
if we told you who was who and who was.
Well, let's run it.
But yeah.
So
what were we talking about before I like
the ZR1 not being worth, or ZR1 of the Revuelto.
The 700K
is it worth?
difference.
Is it worth it?
I didn't mean it from like a by the means standard, because obviously if you can afford the $1 million car, you'll buy the $1 million car. I more so meant like in the difference between the vehicles, vehicle to vehicle. Is there really a 700K leap between the two?
No.
That's more so what I meant. That's the craziest part when you think about it. Like, and you think about it, the supply and the demand of the marketplace that garners the fact that a Revuelto could be $1 million and the ZR1 could be 300K.
Right.
It's insanity to me.
Is it insane that a pair of Louis Vuitton shoes can be $1,500? It's the same concept. Someone's willing to spend $1,000 more on a pair of shoes, $1,000 more than another pair of designer shoes. You know, because we're still talking about $500 to spend on shoes, $1,000 less. So, like, that's how everything works. Lamborghini has created that brand.
It's absolutely
that
insane.
Importance. So
you're talking to a Lambo owner.
Yeah, a Lambro,
literally.
Look at that thing.
One thing I want to mention that I've never said out loud, and then I thought about this the other day, and I kind of thought it was cool, and this is going to be just me talking to my ego a little bit. I've owned the Trio.
Ferrari, McLaren, Lambo.
Pretty crazy. It hit me in the face the other day. I kind of thought about it. I go, what the fuck?
He's never owned an Aston Martin.
Never owned an Aston Martin.
He never will.
I kind of want to. Be honest.
You kind of want to?
Yeah, I like my Aston Martin is the I like the new Vantages.
Yeah.
Like I love that car. Like I love that car. Like I would get one.
The brand new one.
The brand no. Like Zoomies, like those Vantages.
Yeah.
Like that.
But you're talking about the redesigned one that we were talking about earlier.
No. Like the current model.
Current one.
The current Vantage.
You want one of those?
I love those fucking cars. I love the design. I want a gloss white one. Put a matte PPF on it. I wanted two-tone the black roof, and I wanted to have that big wing that it comes with, with gloss black, big multi-spoke wheels.
You've seen the redesign one, right?
Yes, I know it fucks. I'm very aware. But I'm talking about like me.
It's just the same thing, but better.
No, but again, those aren't out yet. It's not attainable right now.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like me right now. If you could give me the option, I would get one of those Vantages right now. I love those cars. So you're talking about me owning an Aston Martin? I would 100% own one, and I would get one, and I know which one it is.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I think I'm going to get one of the new ones in a couple of years.
They fuck.
Yeah.
They fuck.
Let me get a purple one.
With bronze wheels.
Someone please spec a purple one.
So you go to
drive it for 8,000 miles, and then
eat the depreciation,
and then get rid of it in 3
me.
years from now. Please, I'm begging you. Please do that for me. That's what I want.
I can't read this. What else do we have?
Man, there's just so much to cover.
It's really crazy, and I don't think we're gonna be able to fit everything into it. It's just kind of like, it's absolutely insanity. What else do you want to talk about specifically?
Well, so starting Supercar Connection and getting behind the wheel of a supercar. And you used to say this to me. So I'm going to give Joe some props here. And you can add on to this if you want. But my guy Joe used to say this and has said this before. Driving that Lamborghini just changed everything, that Huracan. And I really think if you love cars and you're trying to change your life in a way that gets you in gear to go after and get cars, go rent a Lambo. I think everyone who loves cars should rent a Lamborghini. Even though it's like $1,000 for a day and you're throwing away $1,000 is not nothing. It's a lot you can use that towards. Find the deal, go spend $800 to rent a Huracan for a day and rip that thing for a day. And when you're sitting behind the wheel of a Huracan, you're driving it, you see this is possible. It's no longer a concept.
You touch it.
It's reality.
It's in
You're
your
not just
hand.
touching it, you're driving it. You're not just sitting in one at a car show. You're driving it down the street. You're ripping. And it changes everything. It literally changes your whole mind, your whole perspective. And from that moment, you go, how do I get this? What do I need to do?
I can no longer live without it.
Because I already had that thought, like, I got to get a Lambo, all that stuff. But after driving it, it became, this has to happen.
A sense of urgency.
This is no longer a concept for future Gavin. This is like, this has to happen.
Present Gavin, you didn't
as soon as I can possibly get there. What do we got to do? That's what it does to you.
Tell me, because I'll do it.
Everything changed. Like, I'm obviously not there yet, but the foundation has been set over the course of this year, because everyone talks about the timeline. You already had a great foundation, which has allowed you to jump into all these cars like crazy.
A lot of years in the making.
But putting in that foundation for a year, a solid foundation, moving forward, like, it's in my future.
It 100% is inevitable.
I can taste it.
The mindset's already there.
And it's not even that far.
That was the biggest thing. It's just
driving the car.
That's it.
Go rent a supercar.
Literally. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that, because I think a lot of people talk shit about it. And I think one of the things, we were talking to one of our boys about this too. Like, I have a friend right now that has no car payment, but he wants to get a new car. And he's like, oh, I'm so used to having a car note or something like that. For me, and this, I think you're wired the same way, having that car note is what kicks your ass into gear, because we love cars so much. Like, every time I drive this thing, I'm like, I love this thing, but I'm like, that payment ain't going to make itself. I got to figure out how the fuck I'm going to make that payment. So renting the Lambo and realizing what it is, and the fact that it's real, and the fact that you're like, you no longer can live without it, is the first step. Then going on and getting yourself something, whatever is in your close attainable reach. It might not be a Lambo at first, but getting that car that makes you feel good about driving puts you in motion even more, to the fact that you're like, okay, now I got to make this payment. How do I make more money? And all of a sudden you start making money and you go, wait a second, I'm making good money. I can get the next car payment.
Yeah.
And the next one. And the next thing you know, you fuck around and you end up in some dumb shit like this.
And I can make more money.
Exactly.
So here's the other thing you got to learn. And I still have a normal job because I have to. But when you start to make money outside of a normal job, that money is scalable. When you're working a job, that money is not really scalable. It's scalable slowly and incrementally, and usually not enough that's going to get you Lambos.
And not on your own call. It's
right.
Not your decision to scale.
Exactly.
It's their decision to scale.
When you start making money outside of that framework, it's scalable money. And when you see, I can make 10 grand, you can scale it to 20. You can scale it to 30, 40, 100. That's how these people scale up to like $100,000 a month. It sounds insane, but it sounds insane because you have a job that you were paid to show up to. Like me, I'm not hating on it. This is my life today. It's not my life forever, but it's my life today. Show up to a job and you get paid X amount of dollars for it. And so thinking, how does anyone ever get to 100? Well, they're not playing the same game as you. They're playing a whole different game.
Whole different game.
And that's a game of scale. So that's what, I've always known it exists. I just haven't had the drive to go after it.
It's crazy.
Until starting this.
Now it's one of those things you need to taste first.
I'm in the game of scale.
You're in the game of scale. We're all in the game of scale now. It's like, and you don't understand it until you, like renting the Lambo. You don't get it until you touch it.
Right.
Until you do it for one time, you go,
and then you go, the path I'm on does not get me here. It is time to find new path.
Wealthy people are people that are in control of their own time.
Mm-hmm.
They dictate their own time. And when you have a job, you're trading time for that money. So until you remove yourself from that structure, the trade-off cannot be there. But like you said, having like anybody out there that watches this podcast that wants to get into a supercar or even just wants to even live a life of some of our guests and stuff like that, there is nothing wrong with working a 9-to-5. There's people that work 9-to-5s that have supercars, believe it or not.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing. It's what you're trying to get to and what you're trying to do.
That's just very difficult.
It is.
Because you got to reach
some high heights.
High levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, there are some people that have multiple things going on.
And even they're usually looking 45, 50 years old.
Yes, exactly. There's some, like I know one guy right now that he sells, I guess it's a 9-to-5 because it's commission too. So it's a little bit different. That's a different structuring, but he has a 9-to-5. He sells solar and then he like flips real estate on the side and stuff like that, drives a 570. And like, that's his whole life. And he's trying to get out of the solar game by buying more flips and keeping some and stuff like that. But his 9-to-5 commission based, so it's not exactly the same dynamic.
It's not.
But his 9-to-5 is fueling his side hustle that's paying for the 570.
Go get in sales.
Go get into sales. Don't work at some.
That's the easiest segue.
Yes.
Go get into sales that's scalable.
I hate to tell people this, but get comfortable talking to people.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, you got to talk to fucking people.
I've gotten a lot better at that in the past year than I was.
Honestly, let's talk about that for a quick second. How do you feel like the podcast and everything we've started has developed yourself?
Me?
Like, how has Gavin McDaniel changed in the last year?
Definitely more comfortable talking to people, just walking up to someone, having a conversation. Because I was super introverted, right?
Very much so. Not in a negative way.
Not with my friends.
No.
I'm once you get to know me,
Chatterbox.
Talker.
Yes, chatterbox.
Okay, jeez. Wow. I didn't know he felt so strongly about this one. But yes, around strangers I've always been slow to open up, but I think that's the biggest thing. I'm just much more willing to go and talk to someone because I'm just more confident. I have more practice at talking to people. Everything takes practice, right?
Reps.
So you either have practice talking to people you don't know or you don't. So you're either comfortable doing it or you're not. I was not. I didn't ever need to talk to a bunch of people I didn't know. So I never got good at it. So continue to practice it, continue to get better. Wheel and deal.
That's it. Wheeling and dealing, baby. That's the skill set that we've garnered. Wheeling and dealing. And it's funny too, because like a lot of people watch the podcast and don't understand maybe don't even think about like the whole dynamic of us and stuff like that. Gavin and I's skill sets are so complementary to each other. It's absolutely stupid. And I hope you guys pick up on that, like just by watching us and stuff like that. People don't realize how good of a team the two of us really are. Like when you really put us on paper, like literally our skill sets are completely complementary. Gavin and me, boom, make it into like a superhuman something. That's why this whole thing is possible. It won't be possible without him, won't be possible without me, and we're only going to grow as much as the two of us allow it to.
So how do you think you've changed?
It's a good one. Well, I definitely have changed.
Yeah.
Tenfold.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think exactly what I think more so what it is kind of like the way you said it, like you always knew things were possible, but like meeting people that were really doing the shit that I always knew was possible kind of smacked me in the mouth. And I was like, why, if they're doing it, I'm probably smarter than these people. I could be doing it too. And that kind of helped me scale up. And then just meeting the people and the mindset change was the biggest thing for me. And I think too, I think I've always been, before the podcast, I was always big on like talking to people and having a network and stuff like that. And I thought I did, but comparison to now, it's laughable.
The network now is crazy.
The network now is just disgusting. Like it's absolutely stupid. And it's more than a network too, because like some of these people have become like close friends, like really close friends, like where you think like, oh, like, you know, you had them on the podcast, like they're your friend, like that's it. Like, no. Like I have like met families and been like personally, like their homes and like whole dynamics, been through their harsh times, their up times, like the whole nine. So I think what's more so changed with me is understanding the power of connections. My mindset has changed completely because I used to think one way about just life and structure and everything between. Now I've opened my mind to kind of like you said, the scalability of things, understanding how to work it. And like, even just a testament, like we talk about this, you talk about laying the foundation and stuff like that, and how this year was a big like foundation lay for you. People don't understand that like, and you to be able to say that, like, just shows me how much like you've grown mentally to be able to understand that like it takes the foundation to be able to get to this bullshit. People don't know me and don't know all the setup and stuff like that. You know me and you've seen me. We've been together since we were in college or stuff like that, when I was a fat waste of life back then. Like I before Supercar Connection, I was just head down grinding on all the stuff that we talk about now. But it took me getting here and talking to more people, realizing you're doing what you're doing, you're at there. I've done the same groundwork you have. I just haven't. So this year was really, I guess, really call it like my like peacock year, I guess, kind of crap. I laid the same foundation year as all these other guys.
Year of the peacock.
Year of the peacock. As you want to frame it pretty stupidly. There you go. Year of the peacock for me specifically. I had set the framework that a lot of the same people and a lot of our guests had set, but I just never popped it open. Mm-hmm. And then when I met them, like I'll even talk about it right now. Like it's whatever you want to call it, name drop and stuff like that. Like Qasim, good friend of mine, stuff like that. Meeting Qasim and seeing what he was able to do, and Pacman and all those guys, I was like, we have a lot of the same foundation, the framework. I make relatively close to what some of these guys make. And I was sitting there and I go, what's the difference though with that? And it's just having the risk and taking the leap. I could never fathom. I remember I was paying $700 a month for the Corvette, and I was like, that's a lot of money for a car. Now, if you told $700 a month Corvette Joe that he's going to pay what he pays for this, that person would have threw up on you 4 times over. Would have threw up once, gathered himself, threw up again. So like that, it was just understanding that I had laid the foundation, and this year had showed me that I have put in the work. I just never gave myself enough credit.
Well, congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And again,
you've accomplished a lot.
Without you, this is not possible. Because without this podcast, I would have just kept rolling through.
Doing what you're doing.
I was doing the same
driving
thing.
a Z06.
I would have been driving a Z06. And I would have thought that I was Timothy.
Like, we would occasionally made burgers and talked about cars.
We would have drove in the Z06. Like, hey man, this is cool. Flat plane crank. Like, you know, oh, the Ferrari 458 was a cool concept. Like, they made this after that. We'd have never touched that. It's just crazy, man.
It's wild.
But I owe everything to this podcast. So I'm excited to see what season 2 brings.
Me too. Well, I got 2 more guest questions.
Let's hit it.
And then that's it.
Let's run it.
That's it. That we haven't gotten to yet. Okay. What's the best daily driver?
See, this is an easy answer because it's my favorite car. G63.
G63?
Yep. I will live and die on this rock forever. That's my favorite car.
All right.
Like, fuck this. Like, this is cool and stuff like that. But if I had to, you really told me you have one car, G63.
Okay.
There's nothing that beats Mercedes interior, ride height, power, and vibes. It match. I'm telling you guys right now, if nobody's done this right now, go rent a G63, okay? Drive down PCH, put all the windows down and the sunroof open, blast your favorite song, and just sit back with your hand on 12. Very few cars beat that experience. And this is different experience, not talking about handling, driving, that experience, because the way you look around and you're where you're sitting, the way the car feels on your right foot and the interior, best daily driver.
It's nice.
What about you?
The Ford Explorer ST.
I fucking hate you. That's the best answer possible.
You know why?
Why?
Because the police have them.
So
I can't even say it with a straight face.
So what do you mean by the police have them, Gavin?
Dude, the police drive Ford Explorers. So when you have a Ford Explorer ST, like a black one or a white one, depending on where you're at.
Right.
In LA, I feel like a black one fits better because the front and the back of the police cars are black, and the undercover ones are usually all black. You put those kind of like police style wheels. You put like
don't they have like they have a different grill too? No. They'll make a grill for it too?
Yeah. There's the grill. I don't even think you really need that. But if you just get the wheels, and then here's the other thing about police cars. I don't know if you know this about the Ford Explorers that the police have compared to the civilians. No roof rails. So if you're like ever see a black Explorer coming up on you or something like that, or one in front of you and you're like scared to pass him, you're not sure what he is, check the roof rails or look at the roof. If it's got roof rails, civilian car. The police ones have no roof rails.
Got it.
And then also another tip is on the trunk if you're behind one. This is easier to spot on the white ones. They have like an actual like trunk latch. Like put your hand in and grab it and pull on it.
The police ones have
the police ones. Right. Instead of like the touch button power tailgate, you'll see an actual like grab handle. It's like a black piece of plastic grab handle right in the middle of the back of the car.
Because a lot of people don't know I have one. So I'm thinking about the little button, and like underneath the Explorer in the back, they have a little push button.
Right.
Versus you're talking about like a little like hand grab.
A full latch.
Yeah.
Plastic box on the back door. So those are the two things that like, hey, it's a police car. But if you just get like a black Explorer ST, comfortable car, you have one.
Yeah. I love them.
Yeah. You put the wheels on it. You know, maybe you're skirting a line. I don't know.
Maybe exhaust tune. Maybe.
Yeah. And then maybe take the roof rails off and it's all black and you drive around. You can do whatever you want. And
there's no rules.
No. And it's not even that you're like impersonating a police officer, because they can't tell you're not allowed to have a black Explorer. You kidding me? I'm not pretending to be a police officer.
It's not illegal to take the roof rails off a car either.
Ford sells a Ford Explorer to me, just like they do to you.
Yes.
So just because mine looks like you, I'm not putting lights on. I'm not flashing signals. I'm not doing anything.
You're not putting like TSAS systems and stuff like that for like aircraft and crap like that.
But people see you, they move out of the way because they're scared. Like they think you're a police officer. You know, you kind of park anywhere. If you fly by a police officer and you look maybe somewhat policey enough.
Yeah, you got a mustache. You're a white guy.
Yeah, and you got the wheels maybe. They're probably, they might not, they'll be like, oh, CHP, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Cool.
Not going to pull out, not going to follow you. You can kind of just fly under the radar because people assume you're a police car. You're not impersonating them. They just assume it. And so you get away with a lot of stuff.
It's a great answer, Gavin.
You fly around, do whatever you want.
It's a great answer.
Park anywhere, drive anywhere.
I'm taking the roof rails off mine. We should test this.
Take the roof rails off.
We should test this.
Fly around.
We should actually take the roof rails off and go and like film us flying around and see what people do. Like I'm going to go, let's take the roof rails off. Let's go drive behind people like as close as we can and just see what people do.
They will all move all over the way. So that's my answer.
I love it. That was a good question. That was a good one.
Last question.
Hit me.
Why do so many supercars have Montana license plates? And I have a Montana license plate.
You do have a Montana license plate. It's crazy. I don't even have a Montana license plate. First Supercar did, but now it doesn't.
Yeah.
Why do so many supercar cars have Montana license plates?
Yeah.
Well, people that don't know, okay, you can have a Montana LLC, any company or anything, a state in Montana, any entity. You can register the vehicle there. There's no sales tax, registration fees, or what?
If the car's over 10 years old, none forever. Permanent registration. Right? Yeah.
It's almost, if you don't have one, it's kind of like, what are you doing type thing.
Right.
Agreed?
Yeah. They make it, their registration rules are like so low, the bar is so low that they make it very easy for people to register the cars. And it also allows you to register cars that might not be registerable in some states. Like a lot of people use them for like 4x4s and stuff like that, that like aren't street legal in my state, but I can register in Montana and now I have a plate and I can drive it on the street. Like it's street legal, it's registered.
Right.
You can't tell me I can't drive it.
Right.
It's things like that. But in the sports car world, I mean, benefits of Montana, like you said, no sales tax, registration fees are super low, and anonymous registration, because your LLCs, like in California, when you create an LLC, everything's above board.
Non-disclosure state.
Yeah, who you are, your address, home address, everything is attached to that LLC, searchable on the state database. Not in Montana.
If the registered agent is in you can look up in Montana, but they cannot get to you and your personal information.
You look up my LLC in Montana, you're not going to see Gavin McDaniel because it's not even mine.
No, you don't even.
So, and then the last thing is no smog rules. So that's another big one. So people can mod their cars how they want and not have to be worried about getting state refed. So depending on the state you're in, there are still other laws you've got to watch out for, because some states might try to get you for tax evasion.
It's crazy too, because I feel like one of the things.
But as long as you're following the appropriate laws,
you're fine.
You're fine.
People don't realize how easy it is to like register a car in Montana too. Like I feel like people like think that's like the craziest thing ever.
It's literally, it takes 10 minutes.
It's literally 10
easier
minutes.
than the DMV.
It literally is easier than going to the DMV.
It's easier than the DMV.
All you guys have to do, for people that don't know this, all you got to do is go to montanatags.com, follow the instruction on the website. You got to file for the LLC, pay this package fee. Everything will get taken care of. They will mail you out your plates, mail you out your temporary registration. They will set everything up for you, all for a prepackaged fee. It's actually pretty relatively cost friendly when you think about.
Right, it's going to be cheaper than your registration costs.
100%. And then of course, once you have everything registered, from there it's a frenzy. If you have other cars you want to register and throw other cars into that one LLC, that whole registration package thing is just to set up everything up the first time.
Yeah.
Everything else is just gravy.
They're who I used for my Advantage, and it was like super easy.
They're great people.
It took me 10 minutes.
I imagine they're pretty good to work with too.
Maybe even. Yeah. Fast to respond to everything. And yeah, every time something happened in the process, I just got an email. Hey, this is done, or hey, we need this document, or whatever.
Dunzo.
Easy.
Amazing.
And they set it all up, and now we've got it. So montanatags.com/supercar connection, because we work with them now.
We do.
So, it's also down in the description. I won't link the ad that we usually drop in here since we're talking about it now too, but
Perfect. There you guys
down
go.
in the description, there's a link. Go to that. Register your car in Montana. Follow the laws, of course, always. We're not financial advisors.
No. Disclaimer. And I think that's it, no?
Yeah, thank you all for listening to us.
This has been a hell of an episode. Sentimental episode for Gavin and I. Recap episode. Thank you guys for the last year, for listening to us from the start to the finish. Because have you guys been around that long and actually been tuning in and have maybe gone back and listened to the first episodes to the recent episodes? Crazy jump.
Don't watch the first episodes.
Exactly.
Don't even worry about it.
There it is.
Just watch the new ones.
Yes. So that's the whole thing. If you guys have been around long enough, we sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of our heart. You guys watching this and being able to engage with the content is what makes all this possible. We got a lot in store for you in season 2. You guys are going to love it. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep pushing. We're not going to stop anytime soon. And we'll be sitting back here, probably somewhere else, another calendar year from now, and only imagine where we'll be.
Who knows?
I'll hopefully have a Bugatti behind me.
Yeah, just follow along, stay tuned, and we'll let you know when we're coming back. Shouldn't be too long, but it will be at least a few weeks. Your boy needs a break.
That's a wrap. Supercar Connection Season 1.
Season 1.
Stay tuned.
We're out.